Flatten the Curve. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the podcast of The Ordinary Maverick. This is Ajay, your host, an ordinary maverick, sharing real life thoughts and experiences and maverick tips. If you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, please do so, and you'll not miss another episode. In the last 2 years and a bit, we have all added new words to our vocabulary. The pandemic did that for us. I mean, look at it. Words and phrases like variants of concern, social distancing, super spreader, PPE or personal protective equipment, N95 masks, concentrators, lockdowns, PUI, which is person under investigation, that is someone who is suspected of potentially having COVID-19, WFH, work from home, and then of course there's flatten the curve. That's an interesting term, and through the last 2 years, we have heard it often. The term became a very popular one while reporting and updating on the course of the COVID-19 pandemic. What does it mean? Flattening the curve means slowing the spread of the virus over time using different measures like use of masks, social distancing, etc. So one sees a lower, smoother curve on the chart. You know, the trajectory of an epidemic is seen by plotting the cases by days in a particular geographic area. And all efforts are then directed towards bringing the cases down and flattening the curve, which looks like a lower, smoother curve on the chart. So, what's the history of this term and why is it so important? This was a public health strategy to slow down the spread of the virus during the early stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. And the curve referred to the epidemic curve. Like I said earlier, this is a visual representation of the number of people infected needing healthcare over time. During an epidemic, a healthcare system can break down when the number of people infected exceeds the capability of the healthcare system's ability to take care of them. Flattening the curve means slowing the spread of the epidemic so that the peak number of people requiring care at a time is reduced and the healthcare system does not exceed its capacity and gets overloaded. But the counter to flatten the curve is to raise the line. This is about increasing and boosting the healthcare and hospital system's capacity to treat large number of patients. Ideally, efforts should be directed to do both. Slow the rate of infection so that there aren't too many cases that need hospitalization at one time as a mitigation strategy that tries to lessen the effects of the virus on society, and to raise the line, that is, to boost the hospital system's capacity to treat a large number of patients. Neither of these are easy, and both come with their unique set of ups and downs and challenges and successes. But regardless, the world continued to keep the spotlight on the curve, tracking it, making all efforts to bring it down and then flatten it. Well, I see this somewhat like life's ups and downs. What if we plotted our own life's curve? Let's pause for a moment and imagine the life's curve. Now, plot all the significant changes we may have had in our lives over time. Examples: completion of a degree, a job, meeting our life partner, marriage, kids, change of jobs, relocations. Anything that was significant and was a moment in our lives. How does the curve look like? Will it be with lots of ups and downs or relatively stable? Do we want to see a more flattened curve, meaning a life more stable perhaps, or at least one that doesn't cause too much turmoil with its ups and downs? Of course, it's different for everyone, and that's what makes it so special. We each have our own life curve, and as far as mental well-being is concerned, we each need to do what works best for us to keep the well-being curve flat and stable. Yes, often we may not have the liberty or luxury of controlling the ups and downs. Life happens, and one deals with whatever challenge and event we face at that time. However, what one can do is raise the line. What do I mean by that? Well, just as you plotted the life curve try and plot all the resources we have. By this I mean our strong bonds and support from family, from friends, from people around us that we have built over the years, the knowledge we have gained, the education, bank balances, the soft debts we have accumulated. You remember I've spoken about the life's soft debts in an earlier podcast? So, yeah, important thing is to have these soft debts. And when we plot all of this, what do we see? Do we see a line that's rising? Ideally, yes. We each of us have built in reserves and we should continue to raise the line and those reserves. So while life's curve may have periods of highs and lows and we try to flatten it, if we work towards raising the line, aka building our resources and our inner and external capabilities, that's when it all comes together. See, that's what life is all about. Yes, there will be challenges and ups and downs, and while we should make every attempt to flatten our curve and keep it smooth, we should also acknowledge the raising the line aspect and what we are accumulating in our lives over the years. For me, it's simple. Just like we need to flatten the curve in a pandemic to not burden the healthcare system, think about flattening the curve for your mental, emotional, and physical well being. So, how does one flatten this curve? For the spread of the virus, there were various measures like using the mask, social distancing, hygiene, etc. etc. Did it work? Well, yes, evidence does show that it helped in some places, and it definitely helped slow down the rise of the curve, buying the much needed time to raise the line and strengthen the health system. So, turning to our lives, we should take action to lessen the impact of the ups and downs of the curve. Find measures to de stress, discover and nurture passion. Let me share something here. I discovered a passion for singing during the pandemic. It's an amazing story. Sometime just before the pandemic, in January 2020, I attended a singing get together at an aunt in law's place. It was a beautiful evening with some passionate, serious singers and great melodious singing. People who, actually were pursuing singing as a hobby, as a passion. Well, during the course of the evening, I was asked to come up and contribute, basically to sing. I always had an ear for music. How some people just naturally take to music and the notes. I don't understand most of it though, but could always pick up if someone went off tune. I have always loved music, attending concerts, rock shows, any live gig, and I was game to attend. So, coming back to that fateful evening and the party, which was, by the way, great, I was asked to sing something. I get up in front and sing one of my favorite songs. A song from yesteryear Indian cinema, and this particular rendition brought the house down, so to speak, for all the right reasons. It was a super success. Suffice to say, that was a turning point for me, my family, and everyone around me. I have never looked back. I just love singing that song, and to say that I took the audience by surprise is an understatement. I think I even surprised myself. That started my singing journey. And ever since then, I've been enjoying exploring this passion more and more and pushing myself to learn and sing complex songs. In my own way, I feel that I have been flattening the curve. Of course, my entire family, close relatives, and friends, and all are like, wow, where did this come from? And then they ask my wife, was he singing earlier? And it just goes on to show that one is always learning and growing and discovering. My passion for singing just keeps growing, and I have to say, it's contributing a great deal to flattening my curve. I didn't stop there though. I've always had this desire to learn a musical instrument, and I jumped whole hog into learning the guitar. Nothing comes easy, and I have deep respect to all who put in that special effort in learning and nurturing their continued growth. I'm enjoying playing the guitar, although it's very early days yet. But again, I continue to take concrete action towards flattening my curve. So, fellow Mavericks, keep that passion going strong. Continue to find new passions while nurturing old ones. And yes, there's more to be done for raising the line, but perhaps that's for another episode. Wishing everyone well on this continued journey of flattening the curve, the most important one, our journey, our life. Do keep writing your comments and sharing your feedback via our Instagram at The Ordinary Maverick or through our hashtag The Ordinary Maverick. I love hearing from you. This is Ajay signing off and wishing you have an amazing day, a super amazing year. Keep well, stay safe. Credits. This podcast series was put together as a team effort from the Bhardwaj family. Concept, design, title, researchers and reviewers Ajay, Sanjana, Avantika and Niharika Bhardwaj. Script, Sanjana. Cover design, Niharika. All rights reserved.